The asteroid hung in the black silence of space like a forgotten stone. Craters pocked its surface, and dust clouds drifted slowly in the weak gravity. Most pilots avoided this place. No Federation patrols passed here, and rumors said pirates liked to hide in the shadows. But Jerk, a human mechanic with a reputation for fixing almost anything, had no fear. He floated near the asteroid's surface in his small, battered shuttle, eyes scanning the shipping logs. One entry caught his attention: derelict ship for sale. Price 100 credits. But what truly made him grin was the note beside it: willing to accept half for immediate pickup. 100 credits was nothing for most of the Federation, but half. 50 credits could buy a week's supply of fuel for his shuttle and maybe even some spare tools. Jerk didn't hesitate. 50 it is, he muttered, touching the control panel on his wrist device. Within moments, the transaction completed. There was no seller, no voice on the comms, just the digital transfer of credits. Jerk liked deals like that: clean, simple, and almost always profitable. The shuttle rumbled as he maneuvered closer to the asteroid. The derelict ship was bigger than he expected. Its metal hull was scratched and sections were missing, revealing dark spaces inside. The engines were long dead and the windows were dark, reflecting the stars like black mirrors. Jerk's heart raced. Part of him felt a thrill he hadn't felt in years. Mechanic work was his life, finding the broken and turning it into something powerful. But there was something different about this ship. Something that whispered secrets he couldn't yet understand. He landed carefully on a flat patch of rock. The ship sat at an odd angle, one side buried slightly in a crater. Jerk floated over, toolkit in hand. The airlock was rusted but not locked. With a gentle twist and a shove, the door groaned open. Inside, the ship smelled of old metal and ozone. Dust drifted in the beams of his flashlight as he stepped onto the floor. Panels hung loose from the ceiling, and wires ran like snakes across the floor. Broken consoles and shattered screens suggested the ship had been abandoned for decades, or maybe centuries. "Not much here," Jerk muttered. He crouched to examine a cracked control panel. His fingers brushed the buttons, and to his surprise, a faint hum ran through the ship. A blue light flickered along a console, illuminating symbols that made no sense to him. "Alien," he whispered. He wasn't sure why, but it felt alive. Not like a machine alive, but like it was aware someone had entered. Jerk knew better than to ignore it. Most humans would have panicked, called for help, or run back to their shuttle. But Jerk leaned closer, studying the glowing symbols. They weren't letters, not in any language he had ever seen. The shapes shifted as he touched them, almost as if they were responding to his curiosity. A small screen blinked on above the main console. A holographic projection shimmered into existence. A figure appeared, a tall alien, clothed in ceremonial armor. The hologram's voice was faint, almost like static, but the image moved as if alive. "Unauthorized presence detected," the voice said. The words weren't in any human language, but Jerk understood them perfectly. Not through hearing, but through knowing. He froze. No human AI worked like that. This ship was different. "Interesting," Jerk said aloud, a grin spreading across his face. He reached for his toolkit, already imagining the possibilities. If he could just unlock the systems, figure out the power source, he might have a ship unlike any other in human space. One capable of speeds the Federation hadn't dreamed of. He explored further. The interior was sleek in some areas, worn and damaged in others. Storage rooms held tools that weren't human-made, small gadgets he couldn't identify. He carefully examined them, turning one in his hands. It was light but strong, shaped like a cube and pulsed faintly with energy. "This is going to be fun," he muttered. Hours passed as Jerk explored. He found living quarters now empty and a mess hall frozen in time. Holographic panels lined the walls, showing diagrams of ships, star systems, and what looked like weapons designs. But none of them worked, at least not yet. At the heart of the ship, Jerk discovered the engine room. He expected rubble, maybe a few broken parts, but instead he found a power core glowing faintly. It was small, compact, and unlike anything he had seen. It radiated energy, but not in a way that could be measured by ordinary human instruments. "Why isn't this thing dead?" he whispered. He ran a diagnostic with his toolkit. The console beeped softly, lights blinking across the holographic panel. Systems were coming online as if the ship had been waiting for him. A sound behind him made him jump. The airlock shuddered. Dust fell from the ceiling. He spun around, flashlight cutting across the dark interior. Nothing. Just the ship, silent except for the hum of the power core. Still, he felt eyes on him. Not alien eyes, not human eyes, something else. He shook it off. Mechanics got nervous sometimes in strange places. He focused back on the control panel. Then it happened. The ship moved. Not physically, but a vibration ran through the floor. The lights on the panels shifted, as if the ship had acknowledged his presence. A holographic star map appeared in front of him, projecting the surrounding galaxy. Points of light blinked, tracing routes to planets, asteroid belts, and distant systems. "This thing knows everything," Jerk muttered. He reached out to touch a blinking star. The map zoomed in, showing a detailed planet surface. It was uninhabited or maybe abandoned. But the technology used to create the map was far beyond anything humans had ever made. Jerk realized the implications. If he could master even half of this ship's technology, he could do what no human had done before: explore uncharted systems, avoid patrols, and maybe even outsmart the Federation itself. But he also knew danger was near. Ships this advanced rarely ended up abandoned by accident. Someone or something had left it behind for a reason. He spent the next few hours testing systems cautiously. The ship responded to him. Doors unlocked at his command. Lights shifted with his gestures. Even the small gadgets seemed to resonate with his touch. Then he found the captain's log. A small crystal device activated when he held it. Holographic images flashed before him, records of journeys, encounters with other species, and warnings. "The civilization that built this," Jerk whispered, reading quickly. "They were destroyed by the galaxy itself." A chill ran down his spine. The Federation would kill for technology like this. Alien empires would too. And here he was, alone with a ship that could change the balance of power. He sat down, exhausted but exhilarated. For a mechanic, this was a dream. Not just a ship, but a challenge, a puzzle, a chance to prove human ingenuity against the galaxy. Outside, the asteroid drifted silently in the void. Inside, a human mechanic was about to wake a giant sleeping machine. And the galaxy didn't yet know what was coming. The ship pulsed softly under Jerk's hands, its lights moving like a living heartbeat. The more he touched the panels, the more it seemed to understand him. He had spent hours exploring the interior, but he knew the real secrets were still hidden somewhere deeper. "All right, old girl, let's see what you're really hiding," Jerk muttered, stepping toward the central control room. The air was thick with the smell of old metal and ozone, and the faint hum of power vibrated through the floor. Every step he took made him feel more connected to the ship, like it was alive, like it recognized him as the right person. He started examining the main console again, running diagnostics and scanning the systems. Slowly, the ship's logs began to activate. Holographic images flickered to life, a strange alien script, star maps, and recorded encounters. But what really caught his attention were the movement patterns: fleets, colonies, even what looked like battles, all from a civilization he had never heard of. Long gone," he said quietly. His fingers traced a path across one holographic diagram showing a star system destroyed in a single strike. The record seemed to suggest that this ship's creators had been wiped out by multiple galactic empires, long before humans became a known force. Jerk leaned closer to the holographic panel. The symbols shifted again as if responding to him. Then slowly, one part of the panel changed, translating itself into words he could understand, an internal AI recognition system. Authorized human presence detected. Systems online. Power core active at 32%. Warning, full capabilities dormant. A thrill ran through him. The ship recognized humans, and it had chosen him. He began experimenting. A touch here, a swipe there, and small doors opened, revealing compartments of technology. Some devices floated in the air, small cubes glowing faintly. He carefully picked one up. It seemed like ordinary alien tech, but when he held it, a soft pulse ran through his hand. It was alive, or at least responsive. "These are some kind of self-powered modules," Jerk murmured. He placed one on the floor. Immediately it expanded, forming a tiny structure that resembled a miniature factory. Self-replicating technology. Incredible. Hours passed like minutes. Jerk barely noticed the silence of the asteroid outside. The ship itself seemed to be teaching him, revealing secrets slowly. It was as if it trusted him, but why? Why a human mechanic? Suddenly, a screen flashed, showing a holographic recording of the ship's last captain. The alien's image flickered and the voice played in broken static. "We were the guardians of the starways, but greed and fear destroyed us. If this ship survives, it must find a worthy mind. Beware the Federation. They will come. Do not let them take what cannot be controlled." Jerk's eyes widened. The Federation. He had heard stories of humans being underestimated, but this was bigger than anything he imagined. The logs suggested the ship carried technologies that could change the balance of the entire galaxy. He leaned back, his mind racing. So someone else will notice this eventually, and they won't be friendly. He decided to test the ship's systems cautiously. Engines hummed, slowly powering up. Lights glowed along the hallways. Panels lit up, showing energy levels and navigation systems. The star maps became more detailed, revealing hidden sectors of space humans had never charted. "What is this?" he whispered, seeing paths between stars that shouldn't exist on any Federation chart. The ship seemed capable of interstellar travel beyond current human understanding. If he could master it, humans could reach areas no alien race had ever dared. But that excitement was cut short by a sudden alert. A holographic message flashed across the main console. "External presence detected." Scanning. Jerk froze. He ran to the nearest viewport. A small patrol drone hovered in space nearby, scanning the asteroid. The Federation, or perhaps another alien faction, was already in the area. "Not yet," Jerk muttered. He had to hide the ship's activity. Quickly, he activated a dormant cloaking module he discovered in the engine room. The ship shimmered briefly and vanished from all external scans. "Good girl," he said, a grin spreading across his face. The ship was protective, intelligent, and cooperative, but also extremely dangerous if mishandled. He realized then the Federation would kill for even a glimpse of this technology. He returned to the captain's logs, scanning through more of the holographic records. They spoke of a civilization destroyed by coalition fleets, of weapons that could erase entire planets, of fleets that could move faster than light without detection. And in every record, a single warning repeated: only a worthy mind may control the vessel. Failure will bring destruction. Jerk felt a weight settle on his shoulders. He was just a mechanic, but now he carried the responsibility of something older and stronger than most civilizations. Determined, he began testing the weapons and defensive systems. To his surprise, they activated not with commands, but with intuition. The ship seemed to sense his understanding, responding only when he thought of logical, precise actions. He fired a small energy probe at an empty cargo bay. The probe zipped across the room, not damaging anything, but showing a pattern of energy channels invisible to ordinary sensors. The ship was alive, in every sense of the word. Hours became days. Jerk lived in the ship, eating what he could from his shuttle supplies, sleeping in one of the restored quarters. He learned the ship's systems intimately. By the end of the third day, he had activated 30% of its hidden systems, enough to astonish any experienced pilot. And then it happened. While exploring a hidden compartment in the lower decks, Jerk found something entirely unexpected, an alien artifact glowing faintly, almost like a crystal. When he touched it, a holographic star map expanded across the room, showing not only the known galaxy but also hidden star lanes, uncharted territories, and secret colonies. These, these are maps of civilizations that don't even know we exist, he whispered. The artifact seemed to unlock a library of knowledge stored inside the ship, waiting for someone intelligent enough to use it. At that moment, a sound interrupted his thoughts, a low vibration coming from the ship itself. The lights flickered. The air seemed charged with energy. The ship spoke silently directly into his mind. "You are human. You are authorized, but danger approaches. Others seek what you possess. Prepare." Jerk's heart pounded. The ship was warning him. The Federation, or some alien race, was already aware of its presence. But now he had time to prepare, and humans were nothing if not resourceful. He activated a defensive protocol, isolating the ship's energy core and cloaking the artifact room. Then he sat down, thinking, planning. This was no longer just a derelict ship. It was a galactic weapon, a vault of ancient knowledge, and a test of human ingenuity. As he stared out at the blackness of space, he realized the galaxy had underestimated humans again. And soon, they would learn just how dangerous that mistake could be. The hum of the ship echoed through the empty halls as Jerk worked tirelessly, mastering systems the galaxy had long forgotten. Each control panel he touched responded intuitively, almost as if the ship itself were alive and learning alongside him. By now, he had unlocked more than half of its dormant systems, enough to make even the most advanced Federation ships seem ordinary in comparison. Yet despite his excitement, a shadow of caution lingered in his mind. The artifact, the star maps, the AI recognition, all of it was beyond human understanding. If the Federation discovered this ship in its current state, they would immediately attempt to seize it. And they would have the force to do so. Jerk knew humans had always been underestimated, but underestimation was also a weapon. They assumed humans lacked the reach, the technology, the patience to challenge them, and that assumption was about to be shattered. He floated to the ship's main viewport, staring out at the asteroid field. In the distance, the blinking light of a Federation patrol ship appeared, scanning the sector. The vessel was sleek, armed, and efficient, a symbol of bureaucratic power, but Jerk didn't flinch. He knew the patrol would be the first test of the ship's hidden might. The ship stirred beneath him, responding to his thoughts. Systems activated in silent coordination. Engines powered, shields hummed, and energy channels distributed power to strategic points. Jerk could feel the pulse of the ship, a rhythm almost like a heartbeat, syncing with his own. He moved to the navigation console, examining the star lanes displayed on the holographic map. Hidden routes, uncharted sectors, and cloaked systems, all unknown to the Federation, were revealed. He smiled. If the patrol wanted to find him, they would fail. But that was only the beginning. A message flashed on the main screen. The Federation patrol had issued a transmission. "Unidentified vessel detected. Prepare to be boarded. Stand down immediately or face consequences." Jerk chuckled. Consequences. The Federation didn't understand what consequences meant when humans were involved. He activated a small probe from the ship's hidden armory, a tiny drone that moved faster than anything the Federation had in active service. It zipped toward the patrol, transmitting false readings and confusing signals, making the patrol believe the asteroid was empty. The ship's cloaking module shimmered, and in an instant it became invisible to external scanners. The patrol hovered nearby for hours, scanning and probing, but it could find nothing. Jerk leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, enjoying the irony. "They're good," he muttered, "but not good enough." He then turned his attention to the ship's weapon systems. Though he hadn't yet fully activated them, small energy channels pulsed, capable of precise, devastating effects. Not a single human had ever had the chance to see such technology in action. It was a weapon of thought, controlled by intuition and intellect, not brute force. Jerk began simulations in the holographic projection room. He projected the patrol ship onto a grid and ran scenarios, each time showing how the ship could disable or evade threats without causing unnecessary destruction. Each scenario was flawless, a testament to human creativity and adaptability. Hours passed, and the patrol finally withdrew, frustrated and confused. They had no idea a single human mechanic had outsmarted them using a ship they considered abandoned junk. Jerk knew that this was only the beginning. The Federation and likely other galactic powers would continue searching. They would underestimate him, as they always did, and that underestimation would be humanity's greatest weapon. He activated another hidden module, a small storage room deep within the ship. Inside were more alien artifacts, glowing faintly with stored energy. One of them, a cylindrical device, emitted pulses that synchronized with the ship's power core. Jerk carefully studied it, realizing it could amplify the ship's speed and defense exponentially. "This is insane," he whispered, eyes wide with awe. Humans had never encountered technology like this. But he also knew it was not the ship's purpose to remain hidden. It wanted to be used, and it had chosen him. As he continued to explore, he discovered logs from the ship's creators detailing encounters with other species. Entire fleets had fallen before the power of this technology, civilizations wiped out in single, strategic strikes. But the logs also carried warnings. Intelligence without morality will destroy itself. Choose wisely. Jerk understood the weight of responsibility. He was not just dealing with a ship or weapons. He was holding the legacy of a civilization that had been destroyed by fear and greed. And now, that legacy rested in human hands. He spent days mastering each system, learning the ship's limits and strengths. Then he decided it was time to test its capabilities. He activated the engines fully. A low roar filled the hull, and the ship lifted effortlessly off the asteroid. Space stretched before him, and the stars streaked as the vessel moved faster than any human ship should be able to. Jerk grinned. The Federation would be astonished if they saw this, but he didn't plan to show them yet. First, he had to understand the ship completely. Its AI, the hidden weapons, the cloaking systems, they all needed to be synchronized. Humans were patient, humans were clever, and now humans were dangerous. Suddenly, an alert flashed on the console. A Federation reconnaissance probe had detected unusual energy readings near the asteroid. Jerk's pulse quickened, but he didn't panic. He activated the ship's cloaking and energy redirection systems. The probe scanned the asteroid, but all it found was empty rock. "They'll keep coming," he said aloud, "but they'll never understand what they're up against." He floated through the halls, checking every system. The ship responded to his touch with subtle shifts, almost like it was approving his decisions. He realized then that the ship was more than just a machine, it was a partner. Together, they could achieve what no other human or alien could. For the next few hours, Jerk ran simulations against imaginary fleets, testing the ship's weapons and defenses. Energy beams could disable multiple ships without destroying them. Cloaking systems could hide him even from the most advanced scanners, and the engines could navigate through asteroid fields and nebulae without leaving a trace. He smiled, knowing the Federation would soon learn a painful lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. Time and again, the galaxy had assumed that humans were weak, primitive, and predictable. But the ship had shown him what humanity could accomplish when paired with intelligence, courage, and ingenuity. The sun, Or rather, the nearby star, rose over the asteroid's horizon, casting long shadows across the ship's hull. Jerk floated to the viewport, looking at the blackness of space stretching infinitely before him. He felt a thrill, a sense of purpose he had never known. "This is just the beginning," he said softly. The ship pulsed in response, as if agreeing. Then a new alert came through the ship's sensors. A large Federation fleet had entered the sector, likely tracking the same energy signature the probe had picked up earlier. Jerk's eyes narrowed. They were about to learn, in the most unforgettable way, why humans were not to be trifled with. He activated the ship's full defensive protocols. The hull shimmered, energy channels redistributed to reinforce shields, and weapon systems came online silently, hidden from any external scan. The ship was ready, and so was he. For hours, the fleet tried to locate the source. Their scanners failed. Their communications were jammed by subtle energy pulses redirected by the ship. Every attempt to detect Jerk's presence ended in confusion and frustration. And then, at the perfect moment, Jerk made his move. He sent a single energy pulse toward the fleet, not destructive, but enough to disable several ships' engines temporarily, forcing the fleet into chaos. Panic spread among the alien commanders as they realized a single, seemingly insignificant human had outmaneuvered their entire squadron. Jerk allowed himself a small laugh. The galaxy had always underestimated humans. Always. And this was just the beginning of the lesson. The fleet retreated, leaving behind only whispers of confusion. Jerk floated in the center of his ship, calm, focused, and fully in control. The ship's pulse matched his own heartbeat, a reminder that he was no longer just a mechanic. He was the master of something older, stronger, and far more dangerous than anything the galaxy had seen. The void of space stretched endlessly around the asteroid field, but Jerk felt no fear. The derelict ship he had claimed for 50 credits now thrummed with life beneath him. Its lights pulsed in a rhythm almost like a heartbeat, responding to his every thought. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long, and soon, every alien empire, every Federation fleet, would learn just how dangerous that mistake was. From the ship's main viewport, Jerk watched multiple fleets converge, drawn by the ship's strange energy signature. Ships of every size and design moved cautiously, scanning, probing, unsure of what awaited them. They thought they were coming to seize a lost derelict. They had no idea what had awakened. Jerk's fingers danced across the main console. The ship responded instantly. Systems he hadn't even touched yet activated automatically, distributing power to shields, weapons, and engines. Cloaking modules flickered, creating multiple false images of the ship, each moving independently to confuse the enemy. The patrols were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. He sent a silent pulse through the communication channels of the nearest fleet, not a threat, but a simple demonstration of power. One by one, engines faltered, weapon systems went offline, and communications scrambled. The alien commanders shouted in confusion. They had never seen technology this advanced, technology that seemed alive, yet obeyed only one being, a human. Jerk leaned back in his chair, calm and focused. "You came looking for a fight," he said softly, "but humans, we play by different rules." He activated the ship's main propulsion system. With a sudden burst, the vessel leapt forward, moving faster than any ship in the combined fleets. It appeared in multiple locations almost simultaneously, thanks to advanced energy projection systems and cloaking. The alien fleet scrambled, unsure where to aim or what to target. The derelict ship wasn't just powerful, it was intelligent. It anticipated enemy moves before they happened, redirecting energy, deploying defenses, and revealing only what Jerk allowed it to reveal. Every maneuver was precise, every action a calculated display of human ingenuity. For hours, Jerk tested the patience and tactics of the fleets. He disabled ships without destroying them, creating chaos without bloodshed. But the message was clear. Humanity was no longer a backwater species to be ignored. They were clever, resourceful, and terrifyingly capable when underestimated. Meanwhile, Jerk explored the hidden compartments one last time. More alien artifacts, glowing with stored energy, revealed additional systems. One device, shaped like a small sphere, integrated with the ship's AI and multiplied its energy output exponentially. Jerk activated it, and suddenly the ship's power core glowed with an intensity that made the stars around it appear dim. The fleets froze, sensors overloaded, commands failed. The alien commanders stared in disbelief at the display of power. One by one, they realized that a single human had mastered technology that should have been beyond all species in the galaxy. Jerk smiled. This was the moment. Humans had always been underestimated, but now the galaxy could see what ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could achieve. He maneuvered the ship toward the largest fleet, weaving through asteroid belts with impossible precision. Energy beams rippled silently across space, temporarily disabling multiple capital ships. Defense systems of the enemy fleet scrambled in confusion. The humans had not fired to kill, only to demonstrate superiority, and the galaxy was watching. Within the Federation's command centers, panic spread. Reports came in, fleets immobilized, sensors destroyed, ships appearing and disappearing at will. No one could explain how a single human and a derelict ship could create such chaos. The Federation sent their top admirals personally, hoping their presence would intimidate the human mechanic. But they were too late. Jerk had already predicted their moves, placing the ship strategically in a series of hidden lanes and asteroid corridors. Their advanced scanners could not penetrate the cloaking systems, and their weapons systems were neutralized before they could fire. Jerk addressed the alien fleets directly, sending a holographic projection, himself standing in the main control room, calm and confident. "I am Jerk, human mechanic. This ship was abandoned, underestimated, and now reclaimed. You came here thinking you could take it. You are wrong. This ship obeys me alone. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is not predictable, and we will not be trifled with." The words echoed across the communication channels, translated by the ship's AI into every major galactic language. Silence followed. Then, one by one, alien commanders withdrew, stunned, humiliated, and fearful. The legend of humans, so long underestimated, was now undeniable. Jerk deactivated the cloaking system slowly, allowing the fleets to see the full power of the ship. Its hull glowed with energy, weapons channels pulsed, and subtle shields shimmered across its surface. The Federation and alien races could no longer claim ignorance. Humans had arrived. Inside the ship, Jerk felt a sense of pride and satisfaction. This was more than survival, more than cleverness. It was proof of human ingenuity. Humans could not be predicted, controlled, or ignored. As the fleets retreated, murmurs of fear spread throughout the galaxy. Messages were sent back to capitals. "The human mechanic has awakened the derelict. We cannot challenge him directly." The legend had begun. Jerk paused, staring at the stars stretching endlessly before him. The ship pulsed in response, alive, obedient, and ready for anything. He realized that this was just the beginning. Humans had claimed one victory today, but the galaxy was full of threats. And now, humans had a tool unlike anything else in existence. He touched the holographic star map once more. Routes to hidden systems, lost civilizations, and uncharted sectors unfolded. Jerk's mind raced with possibilities. Exploration, knowledge, power, all within reach. Humanity was no longer confined to the backwaters of the galaxy. They could challenge empires, reclaim lost technologies, and establish a presence no one could ignore. And as he prepared the ship for a new course, a final thought settled in his mind. They thought it was just a worthless derelict. They learned too late that humans never pay full price for what they are about to own. With a final adjustment to the navigation system, the ship surged forward, disappearing into the uncharted stars. Behind it, the fleets of the galaxy could only watch in awe and fear. Humanity had awakened, clever, resourceful, and unstoppable. And Jerk, the mechanic who paid 100 credits, had become a legend. The galaxy would never forget the day humans truly showed their worth.